Welcome into 5 Reasons to Bet here on the 5 Reasons YouTube channel. Make sure you hit that like and subscribe button and also check out all the other great content on the 5 Reasons Network. I feel like we had 32 Heat shows last night. If it's working, you just go with it. So go to 5 Reasons YouTube. Well, you're there already. Of course, you go to 5reasons.com as well and also check out all of our podcasts. We've got the full crew tonight. I'll tell you about the sponsors here in a second. We got Jim Rodriguez. He is in Vegas. I know that view. We've got Alfredo Arteaga. He is in Miami Lakes. I know that view. And we've got Taylor Mathis, who has the best view because she's got our logo right behind her, so it doesn't even matter where she is, although I'm assuming Chicago. I am here in South Florida. We are sponsored, as always, by our friends over at BetUS. Go to betus.com. Very important. This is the code word that you got to use on sign up. 5, F-I-V-E. It's simple. It's a number. You've known it since you were a child. Type in F-I-V-E, and you'll get that bonus, 125%. And they don't have a ton of rollovers. You get money quickly. It's a great live betting platform. And, of course, even with MLB over with, we still got NFL, we still got NHL, and we still got NBA, which I know a lot of folks come to us for. I can tell you right now, the Heat are 6.5-point favorites tonight against the Celtics, minus 3.5 in the first half. They were actually taking that as their best bet on ESPN today. So why not? They got the new jerseys. They're not going to lose them. All right, let's get to Thursday Night Football. Let's put the records back up. There we go. We don't even need to say what Alfredo's record is because everybody knows that Jeff Fisher's 7-9. So that's what he is. He's 7-9. He's got a playoff shot. Maybe in 2 years, but not this year. Jim Rodriguez splitting it right down the middle at 8-8. I am 9.
Hard 8, baby. Hard 8. We're throwing 8s today in Vegas.
I gloated a little bit too soon last week on our string. It looked like that we were going to get an over there. We didn't get an over. I'm 9-7, and Taylor is 12-2. She took a bye week, but still leading everybody. And your text last week that you don't know what it feels like to lose one. That was irritating. All right, let's get to it. Jets, Colts, Mike White. He's the new Jets savior. I guess he's the new Glenn Foley, or I don't know, or Mark Sanchez, or Ken O'Brien, or Pat Ryan. He's in the long line. Of course, going against the Colts. Colts blew a big lead last week. They're now 3 games back in their own division. This is not exactly the matchup that we saw last Thursday night, but let's get to it. Taylor, we're going to make you start here because you're leading.
All right, are we starting with the over-under?
We're starting with the over-under.
Okay, so before I was thinking we were going to go into this and it was going to be 46, so I was going to take the under, and now it's at 45. I still think I'm going to stand strong in my conviction and go with the under because I think that the Colts are going to be more conservative tonight, stick to the run game because of what Carson Wentz did last week, 2 picks. Doesn't look good for him. I also think that the Jets defense is really going to focus on Pittman because T.Y. Hilton's not playing tonight. So I think they just run the ball. They continuously feed it to Jonathan Taylor. And the Jets, while Mike White obviously was great and looked like this savior last week, I think he comes a bit more back down to earth. He had 166 yards to running backs last week. The Colts don't allow that kind of play. They haven't allowed a running back all year to go over 35 yards receiving. So I'm going to go with the under still. I think this is going to be a conservative game.
All right, Alfredo.
I'm going to go over, and I'm going to go over for one reason. I think Mike White, the New York Post has dubbed Mike White sanity, and I don't know if that's a good idea for the New York Post to be doing, but I'm going to say that it's going to work this week, and they're going to be throwing to Michael Carter and Ty Johnson out of the backfield. I understand that stat. I saw it. Taylor's absolutely right. The Colts don't give it up to running backs too much, but the Colts are the walking wounded. They have a lot of injuries. Even Darius Leonard had left that game early last week. He's going to play this week, but he has to be hampered a bit. I think the Jets find it within themselves to score enough to just push it just over 45.
Jim?
Jeremy Lin thinks this is too much hype in New York right now. This is not going to work. Listen, 45, I'm with Taylor on this one. I'm going to go under only because the Colts defense, second in the league in turnovers, okay? It's kind of like the Dolphins defense last year. And I just don't believe in Mike White. I mean, it was a one-time thing. Listen, the Jets scored 34 points last week. And because of that, their total for the year, their average now after that 34-point outburst is 16.5 points a game. They just don't score enough points. I think Mike White had a great game. He had some beers and some dinners bought in Manhattan. but I think it all comes crashing down to an end. I totally agree with Taylor. I think the Colts are going to run the ball. They're going to be super conservative after that ridiculousness that Carson Wentz did, throwing that pick into the end zone. I think they're going to keep it nice. They're going to keep it quiet. It's kind of like the produce, keep it light. And I think it's going to be an under 45. I think we're going to sweat it a little bit because I just don't think the Jets are going to give us enough points to get to 45.
I'm torn here because my instinct is always to fade Alfredo, but also I really do need to catch Taylor, but I still got to go with Taylor on this one. I'm with Taylor and Jim. Look, the Mike White, I know these New York phenomenons, whether they're Linsanity or Dan Pasqua or whatever it is. There's Hensley Mullins, right, was the next great. Bam Bam, right? But I understand the hype in New York, and it's a short week, and maybe it's difficult to prepare for him because you haven't seen him. I understand all of that. I still don't think the Jets scored 20. So if that's the case, then if the number's 45, I'm going to play this one under. I mean, yeah, it's in the Hall of Fame already. Exactly. It's absolutely ridiculous. I mean, it's just, I grew up in New York. I know. All right, Maddie, take it off. Thanks to our producer, Maddie Chang. So I'm going to go under. So 3 of us under, Alfredo over. And now, if you got it ready, Manny, we have a word from another of our sponsors, Booze Bandage.
Oh, I've been using it here.
Click, clap, blast them.
All right, welcome back to 5 Reasons to Bet. There's the Booze Bandage. Make sure you order them.
My birthday this weekend. Like, I need one of those.
Well, that's it. Got 20% off. Use that code 5RSN. Use that code 5RSN. Make sure that you apply it to an area without hair if you possibly can, and you'll feel much better in the next morning than you would otherwise. You may not need the Advil. All right, let's get to the picks on this game. We're going with the number of 10. That's the number we're going with. It has fluctuated a little bit. We're going to go with a nice, clean, even 10 here. We will start this time with Jim. You're first.
Listen, I just, as much as we want to love the Mike White and everything like that, and I think it's a great story, it gives us something to talk about here at the end of October, early November, but I just don't see the Jets being able to put up that kind of points. In other words, again, I think the Jets are going to score in the teens and, maybe the high teens, and I think the Colts easily out of the gate can double that. So the 10 points, I'll take the Colts plus the 10 or minus the 10 all day. I think it's a get well game for the Colts. I think they're going to get it back together. They know they blew a 14-point lead against the Titans last week. They know they let one get away. They can't be getting around and messing around with losing these kind of games. I think they win and they cover. I'll take the Colts. Go horse, minus 10.
I'm not going to give myself the advantage of waiting on Taylor. I'm also going to take the Colts. I'm going to go with Jim in this one. I think we're looking at maybe 23-10, something along those lines, and which, again, will keep you under and play the Colts. The Colts have better material. I know they got some guys banged up, but they've got just much better material across the board than the Jets. If they get just reasonable quarterback play from Carson Wentz, they should be fine. So we'll go to Taylor next, and Alfredo will close.
I think I'm going to go with the Colts, too. I thought about the Jets for a while, but then I was like, I'm just feeding into the whole Mike White fantasy and everything like that. I just think there's no way that the Colts are going to have another terrible game like with what happened last week. I feel like Carson Wentz has to redeem himself. They're not looking very good in the division right now. So I think they're going to cover. I think this is a redemption game for them. And if it's not, then they're in big trouble. I think they should.
If it's not, their season is cooked. I mean, they don't win today. It's over.
Right. I think it should be against the Jets here. So,
Mr. Fisher?
Yeah, I think I don't know who decided that the Colts were a good team, but I don't think they should be giving 10 points to anybody this season. I've watched them all year, and they're just not a good team. They spent the better part of about 45 minutes trying to lose to the Dolphins, and the Dolphins just cooperated with them. Same thing when they played the 49ers. Last week, I thought it was a fluke that they actually played as well as they did against the Titans. I just don't think they're that good. And giving away 10 points is a lot for what I consider a kind of bad team. If it was 10.5, I would feel really excited about it. But 10, just give me the Jets. And I'm likely pushing. Colts will likely win by 10 points. But I think we'll have this little cluster of white sanity go on another week. I think it's a close game. Give me the 10 points.
All right, give Jeff Fisher the 10 points, otherwise known as Alfredo Arteaga. You can follow him at Alf_Arteaga. So basically, 3 of us aligned on both picks this week, which means I'm not going to make up any ground. There is an opportunity, though, for Alfredo to get himself back in the mix here. If he can sweep, if he gets to 9-9, hey, Jeff Fisher will get a contract extension. Go to betus.com, betus.com. Use the code 5, F-I-V-E. We tell you that all the time. Just throw down $20 and sign up and play around with it. That's all you got to do. And, of course, boozebandage.com. Use the code 5, RSN. Good day.